Hey everyone, Pithy here, and I'm back with another episode of Pithy's Budget Brews. And today, we're going to be talking about Goreclaw, Terror of Qual Sisma. And what Goreclaw does is, basically what it does is discounts your 4-power or greater creatures, and then also, whenever he attacks, he pumps them up by 1, +1/+1, and then gives them trample. Which is something that's very, very useful. So, to actually go into what the card, all the text on the card, 4 mana, 4/3, creature spells you cast with 4 power or greater cost 2 less to cast. So that's a huge discount, and a majority of 4 power creatures have a lot of colorless mana symbols in them. Not colorless, but generic mana in them, so you're usually getting the 2 discount all the time, for the most part, not all the time, but there's that. And then Goreclaw, whenever you attack each creature you control with power 4 or greater, gets +2, or not +2, +1/+1, and gains trample. +2/+2 would be pretty broken. So this also includes Goreclaw himself, because this says each creature you control, so it does include himself, so he's a 5/4 whenever he attacks. Alright, now onto the deck. So, basically this slide is just to show off what we can do with the discounts. Sirach, Hunt Caller, would be 2 mana. It would be green to cast this card. So, Sirach the Hunt Caller, 4 mana for a 5/4. Formidable, at the beginning of combat on your turn, if creatures you control have a total power of 8 or greater, target creature you control gains haste until a turn. Guarantee we'll have Formidable by, like, I mean, I would say by turn 3, turn 4, we should have Formidable pretty consistently. I mean, as if we ramp, I guess, on 3. We do have 3 drops, so we'll have Formidable pretty quick, and this is one of the few ways green has to give haste, which is awesome, and we're playing it in the deck because it is a 5/4 and because it has haste. Gives haste to other creatures. So, like, basically we could just ball lightning creatures in every single turn. We could just cast 1 creature or 2 creatures, and one of them gets to go in. Beru, Fisticrosa, 5 mana. Whenever a forest comes into play, green creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample until end of turn. Most of our mana base is forests. That is what we're going to be doing, and it just gives us a passive mini overrun every time we play a forest. And it also is good if we, like, ramped too, because it gives us more. Now he has a Grandeur ability, but it doesn't really matter. Discard another card named Beru Fisticrosa and put a worm token into play, where X is the number of lands you control. XX green worm, but it doesn't matter. Because we don't have another Beru, because it's commander. So I talked about this on our top deck discussions. A Ripjaw Raptor for 2 mana is insane. Is 4 mana though, 5/5, 4/5. Enrage. Whenever it's dealt damage, draw a card. This card I really love. It is a very good aggressive card, because it's a 4 mana 4/5 that if they block it or, like, deal damage to kill it, you get to draw a card off of it. It's very good. And it's even better if it's 2 mana. And it's just insane. Beru becomes a 3 mana play, which is also very good too. So we got Verdurous Gearhulk, 3 mana, or 3 mana with Goreclaw, and 5 mana originally. 4/4 trample. When Verdurous Gearhulk enters the battlefield, distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures you control. So Verdurous Gearhulk could be a 3 mana 8/8 with trample with Goreclaw, or it could just distribute the power of the counters however you want, and it would just be a 3-mana 4/4. But even then, that is very good because it still gives you that. You still get a total of 8 power whenever Brews Gearhulk comes into play, whether it's all on Gearhulk or divided as you choose. And these are some of the most powerful effects that comes from like this mana cost 4 and 5, and then you're getting them at a cheaper mana cost with Goreclaw. It is ridiculous. So now we have cards that are just amazing with Goreclaw. Rampaging Balos, 4 mana or 6 mana, or 4 mana with Goreclaw. 6/6 Trample. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a 4/4 Beast creature token onto play. Keyword being 4 power. So every time you play a land, you get a 4/4 that will eventually be a 5/5 in combat, which is just so powerful. Azuri's Predation. 8 mana, so I think this is the most expensive card in our deck, mana cost wise. For each creature your opponent control, put a 4/4 green beast creature token onto the battlefield. Each of those beasts fights a different one of those creatures. This card is so powerful. It is the best / only real good board wipe for green. And it's so good. It can kill off those little creatures, and then you get to keep the 4/4s, or you get to trade. But the thing is, like, you really want to be able to use this card, and hopefully you get another turn to attack with these things, because oh my god, that is so much damage that you get off of this dude, off this one card. And then like Goreclaw puts them at 5/5s with trample, and oh, it is a powerful card just on its own. And then with Goreclaw, just makes it super broken because they're basically just 5/5s with trample whenever they go in, and they will be going in. We got Creeper Hulk, 5 mana, 5/5 trample. Pay 1 and a green until in turn. Target creature you control has a base power and toughness of 5/5 and gains trample. So now we do have a few small creatures in the deck, not very many, but we do have a few small ones. And even the turning of a 4-powered creature into a 5/5 is not bad. This is just to abuse the giving them +1/+1 and trample. And also, plus, I mean, we have like a Landwar Elves and a Elvish Mystic in the deck. So turning a 1/1 into a 5/5 is basically giving it +4/+4, and then it gets +1/+1 with trample. So then it's a 6/6. So you just gave your Landwar Elves or Elvish Mystic +6/+6 until end of turn and trample. And that's a lot of damage coming around from just your mana dorks that have been around, hopefully, for a while. Bow of Nylea, 3 mana, attacking creatures you control have Death Touch. And that's the main reason it's in the deck, is because if you have Death Touch and Trample, you can assign 1 damage to the creature and then trample over it for the rest. So that is very powerful, because they want to block to soak up as much damage as possible. Well, now they can only soak up 1 damage from the trample and take the rest. There is relevant stuff to it, though. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So you pay 1 and a green, tap, choose 1. Bow of Nylea does 2 damage to target creature with flying. I don't know how relevant that's going to be, because it's not too many like tiny flyers that people play. Or you gain 3 life, or you put up to 4 target cards from your graveyard on the bottom of your library in any order. We don't really have any ways to shuffle, so that's basically just to prevent us from like milling out or something. I like to kind of make it harder to mill us out, I guess, with that ability. Now we just have our utility stuff. So Scavenging Ooze, Skews, 2 mana for 2/2, pay green, exile target card from my graveyard. If it was a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and you gain 1 life. This is just passive graveyard hate. We are playing a majority creature deck, and there's not really too many graveyard hate cards in green, besides like, oh, you can't like target them or something from the graveyard. But Scavenging Ooze is a great way to do it because you can fizzle a reanimation spell. You can really just hurt decks with it, and it also becomes a really big creature. So Ooze is just really good. And I think that is a definite include because it's not that expensive in paper. On Magic Online it is, but in paper it's just cheap, about like $3. Green Mortar Marasa, 6 mana, 5/4. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So you can like get back an important creature, or you can get back just a really good creature. Basically, is what it's getting. It's creatures, maybe even ramp if you're really in a bad situation. And then whenever it dies, you just do the same thing. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So this is very good, and it does get the discount because it is 4 power or greater. So basically it's a better Eternal Witness for 1 more mana with Goreclaw, which is something that's very good. Prowling Sepulchre, 3 mana. Prowling Sepulchre can't be countered, and creatures you control can't be countered. So this card is very important to the deck because we have 0 ways to fight counter spells, and if we play a big dumb creature, a lot of times it's going to get countered, and we're just really sad. And this also does get discounted because it's a 4/3, so it does get discounted, so it's 2 mana. And this is one of the ones where like the discount really doesn't matter. You're just saving up on 1 mana. But here we go. So with this one, Endrick Stomphowler, 5 mana for 4/4. When it comes into play, destroy target artifact or enchantment. We have the other one in here, 2 Conclave Naturalists. These both are in here because they're 4 power. And they're basically better Eternal Witnesses. Not Eternal Witness, Reclamation Sage at that point. Because they get the 2 mana discount, so they are 3. So they are 4/4s for 3 mana that destroy an artifact or enchantment. So they're just strictly better than Eternal Witness. Not Eternal Witness. I don't know why I keep saying that. Reclamation Sage. And Reclamation Sage is in the deck too. You know, so basically we have 3 copies of the card. Because we really want to be able to deal with artifacts and enchantments. We don't really don't want to see ghostly prisons and stuff like that because we are very aggressive and we are green, so we can ramp a lot, but we just don't want to see that stuff. And we have Yeva, Nature's Herald, 4 mana, 4/4, flash. Whenever you cast a green creature card, you may cast green creatures as though they had flash. This is a very important card because this can help us play around board wipes. We can choose not to really dump our hand out on our turn and dump it out on the end of someone else's turn. That way, whenever we can untap safely and not lose everything. So that's basically the reason why Yeva's in here, and she's just a good card too. 4 mana, 4/4, or 2 mana, 4/4. She's just very strong. Next we have card draw or card advantage. Harvester of Soul, or Soul of the Harvest, god, black card. 6 mana, 6/6, trample. Whenever another non-token creature you control enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. Free card advantage, basically, is whenever you play your creatures, which you're going to play them, and you just get cards from them, and it's really good at 4 mana. Garrick's Horde, 7 mana, 7/7, trample, play with the top card of your library revealed. You may cast the top card of your library if it's a creature. We play a good amount of creatures. We don't play like, I don't think we play like 40. We play like 36, 37 creatures. So most of the time we'll be able to find our creatures on top and be able to cast them. Otherwise it's just a cheap, otherwise it may give us a card every other kind of turn. So it's not too bad. Plus it is a creature with that effect, which is very relevant because it can get in damage as well. So that way it's still doing something even though whenever it does nothing. Elemental Bond, 3 mana. Whenever a creature of power 3 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. We have like 4 copies of this type of effect. One of them is at your upkeep, if you control a creature power 4 or greater, draw a card. Another one is, they're pretty much like all reliant on power. So this is also the same thing with like Harvester Souls, non-conditional card draw in the deck, because we're going to be playing creatures over power 3, or with the other ones with 4 or more power. So we'll be getting card draw off of this almost like 90% of the time, because there are a few creatures that are below 3 power. So it is just very good. Life Crusher's Bestiary, 3 mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. Whenever you cast a creature, you may pay 1 green. If you do, draw a card. This is just so good. This is one of the more powerful card draws. Now, it's not as good as Elemental Bond in the way that whenever you just play a creature, you could draw a card. This is just Life Crusher's Bestiary. You could also get the ability to scry with it, and this is just a really good card draw card. It gives you advantages even when you're not casting your creatures, and whenever you cast your creatures, it's still doing something. It's doing something very good. So I really like it because it sets up your draws for whenever you want to draw. So whenever you play a creature, so it's very good. Next, we have Protection. We're playing big, dumb, fat creatures that die to removal. Every single one of those things die. Goreclaw dies. So we're playing cards that hopefully stop them from dying. We're playing Archetype of Endurance, which is 8 mana, 6/5. Creatures you control have hexproof. Creatures your opponents control lose hexproof and can't have hexproof. So this is also cheaper. This is 6 mana with Goreclaw, which is something that's very good. 6 mana, 6/5 with giving everything hexproof and taking away hexproof from your opponents is very good. And just a good include to the deck, just in general, to protect our cards. Lightning Greaves, 2 mana, creature has haste and shroud, equips 0. This is a way to protect. It's really a way to protect Goreclaw, or to really haste in a creature, basically. Same with Brews, it's the exact same thing. It just has hexproof instead of shroud, and it costs 1 equip instead of the 0 equipped. So those are the reasons those are in the deck, is to protect Goreclaw and to also protect our big fatties that are coming into play, because there are some that are very important to have. Like Yeva is really good, so we kind of want to be able to protect her. Next we have fun cards. So these cards, they're either just fun to have in the deck, or good to have with Goreclaw, but not so good that I think that they should be mentioned on the good list. Go with him. So Vivian's Invocation, 7 mana. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You put a creature card from amongst them onto the battlefield. I put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. When a creature is put onto the battlefield this way, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. So, like I said, we're playing big creatures. Big creatures. So, Vivian's Invocation could do a lot of damage to a creature. It can be a removal spell for 7 mana that cheats in a creature, which that is something that's really good. If you can get like a Terracodon, which that's 9 damage, you can kill a 9-powered creature. So you just and also you discounted the cost of that card, and you get to kill that, and you get to kill 3 non-creature permanent as a Terracodon. So that is like probably one of the more insane things you can do. And it's, look at the top 7. So hopefully, very unlikely you should whiff. I mean, it would really be bad if you get these next 2 cards, but it's not a bad card. I think it's really good. And 7 mana is like nothing in Commander, and also in greens, nothing. So Thicket Elemental, 5 mana, and has Kicker, 1 and a green. When it comes into play, if you paid the Kicker cost, you may reveal cards on top of your library until you reveal a creature card. If you do, put that card into play and shuffle all other cards revealed this way into your library. So this is a 4-powered creature, so it gets discounted by Goreclaw. So then it completely negates the Kicker cost. You get to play an extra green, but you're playing mono green, so it doesn't really matter in that sense. But you're basically paying 5 mana for a 4/4 that puts another creature into play. That is really good, and that is something that I feel like is super good about this card, is that with Goreclaw, it is just 5 mana, get a 4/4, and cheat a creature into play. It's very good. Territorial Allosaurus, 4 mana for a 5/5, and then has Kicker, 3, 2, and 1 green. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, it fights another target creature. So this gets discounted as well, so that it would be a 5 mana card to kick it, instead of a 7 mana card to kick it. So paying 5 mana to get a 5/5 and kill a creature is very good. And I feel like this is not a bad card to play in this deck, and it's just something that I feel like is really worth noting, because it does kicker cards are really good with him if they're on creatures that have 4 or more power, because then he like reduces the drawback of kicker. So this is something that I really think about is really good about these 2 kicker cards. And then Engulfing Slagworm, 7 mana. Whenever it blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, destroy that creature. You gain life equal to the creature's toughness, and it's a 7/7. So this is just super good with Goreclaw. If you can attack with Goreclaw and Engulfing Slagworm, the con to this card is whenever you destroy the creature, it pulls Engulfing Slagworm. It doesn't, like, Slagworm won't do anything like to the opponent. So like he won't like hit him for 7. He'll just kill the creature, and then you'll gain the toughness. And it's whenever it does become blocked. So you just toss a blocker in it, it dies. So that's the kind of con with the card. Well, once it gains trample, it's really good. It gets in that damage that it lost from the block, or that it would have lost. So then you get in 8 damage, so that they have to find some way to deal with this Engulfing Slagworm. Plus, it also gives you life too, if you really wanted. And otherwise, it just gobbles up creatures for basically for free, and it's something that is awesome. I love this card. I think it's one of my more favorite green cards. And our win conditions. So we have Great Oak Guardian, 6 mana, flash reach. When it enters the battlefield, creatures target player controls get +2/+2 until end of turn and untap them. So with our deck, most of the time we're going to use it for ourselves, because then with combination with Goreclaw and Great Oak Guardian, essentially we had a makeshift overrun, and this does get cheaper. It does go to a 4. So it could just lead to someone just straight up dying, or multiple people dying once we cast Great Oak Guardian, so it's very powerful in that sense. So I think it's a good card, and it also basically gives them pseudo vigilance if you did it in the attack step. So something that's very good. We have literal actual overrun, 5 mana, creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until on the turn. Enough said on that one. Like, that one is basically a win condition, the original win condition for green, I'm pretty sure, and that's just how it goes. It just pumps their creatures up really huge, gives them trample if they already have trample because of Goreclaw, or they will have trample because of Goreclaw, but there's that. And then Thunderfoot Bailiff, 6 mana, 5/5 trample. As long as you control your commander, Thunderfoot Bailiff gets +2/+2, and other creatures you control get +2/+2 and have trample. So with this guy, he's basically, most of the time he's going to have Lieutenant, because Goreclaw we really want to stay in play, so we're going to try and protect him with our equipment. So we have Thunderfoot Bailiff and Goreclaw, so that is also whenever we attack an overrun. And Thunderfoot Bailiff is a whopping 7/7 with Goreclaw, and that is just ridiculous. And he just like super anthems our creatures, and it's so good. Definitely worth an include to the deck. And that concludes our thing for this week, our deck tech for this week. The deck sits around, as of this recording, $86, and then it's also 28 ticks on Magic Online because of like 2 cards. I really love this deck. It has a few other like fun cards in it that I like, that you probably won't see in too many other commander decks, like Obstinate Balost in here. So like, there's some really fun cards in here. There's also a Garruk, Caller of Beasts, which has a whole bunch of wall attacks on them. But it's really fun deck, and I'll be including a non-budget version of this deck in the description below. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please leave a comment and like the video. Maybe share it to some of your friends. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.